Hello, I'm Annette Young and welcome to the 51%, a show about women reshaping our world. Coming up, it may have a declining birth rate, but Japan is now suffering from a shortage of daycare centres and it's taking its toll on working mothers. Also fighting back how self-defence classes are becoming indispensable in Mexico as the rate of femicide continues to rise. And the young Ethiopian woman is determined to become a successful entrepreneur. But we begin in Japan, where the lack of daycare centres is quickly becoming a hot-button political issue linked to gender equality. Critics say there's not enough support for mothers in the workforce. Some 70% of women leave their jobs after having children. This despite being highly educated. And it's believed that over 100,000 Japanese infants are now on waiting lists for daycare. Diptyka Laurent has more.
These kids are among the first to be welcomed at this brand new daycare center in Tokyo. They are, in every sense, the lucky ones. Across Japan, 117,000 children are on a waiting list for a spot in daycare, and working mothers are getting more and more fed up.
It's wrong that when one's child gets into daycare, it's treated as if you won the lottery or won a prize. In order for women to work with peace of mind, it should be taken for granted that there's a daycare system where one's child can be cared for safely.
When Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe took office 6 years ago, he promised to bring more women into the workplace, including 30% of women holding leadership positions by 2020. While the working rate did increase, his plan has hit some obstacles, like a corporate culture that's still sexist towards women and the expectation that they must take care of the home as well. The biggest problem, though, is the staggering lack of daycare. Some children have been on waiting lists for 2 years. As a result, around 70% of women abandon the workforce after giving birth.
One of the reasons there are not more daycare centers is because we are facing a labor shortage of people with nursery qualifications. And low pay is one of the reasons that they are not looking for jobs in daycare.
Thus begins a vicious cycle. Not enough daycare workers leads to a lack of centers. This means that women are forced to leave their jobs or choose not to have children, which doesn't help Japan's already declining birth rate. The issue gained traction last month after an anonymous blog post went viral. The post, titled, "I couldn't get into daycare, die Japan," resonated with frustrated working mothers. After it was shared over 50,000 times, Shinzo Abe has promised remedies, including detailed measures written into law to reduce waiting lists and dedicating more money to creating new centers. Among other solutions, the government is also considering loosening up immigration rules to allow foreigners to work as family carers.
Now, with high unemployment here in France, one unforeseen consequence is the emerging trend of women seeking jobs in fields very much dominated by men. And as you can see here, they don't regret the career change one bit.
She lost her job as a bookseller. Now, Hélène Abreu is working in a completely different environment. For the past year and a half, she's been making metal valves.
So here, what I'm going to do is transform this raw material into a finished product, which will look like this.
Hélène is the only female machine operator in this company. After being sacked by a bookshop she worked for 8 years, for economic reasons, she had a string of temporary jobs. She then decided to start over from scratch.
I looked for a profession that I could get trained for fairly easily and quickly, and one that was in constant demand, so that I could be sure to find work.
Her strategy worked. This company offered her a long-term contract after 9 months of training. Specialists like welders and turners are in high demand, yet few women apply for these jobs.
People still have a negative image of factory work, especially the older generation. They think it's noisy and dirty, even though today we have more modern machines that are totally safe to use.
Hélène's colleagues see no reason why a woman shouldn't work at the machines.
There are women truck drivers. They drive just as well as men, if not better. It's the same here. She's just as good at the job as we are, even better, because she's more meticulous and a perfectionist.
Some other male-dominated sectors are also looking to hire more women. At this training centre for forklift operators, 4 of the 18 trainees are female. Virginie is one of them. She stopped working as an IT hotline operator in search of a more stable job.
The problem with the IT sector is that because technical support services don't generate a lot of revenue, they never keep staff for a long time. I kept signing a new contract every 6 months. I didn't want to go on doing that, so I decided to quit and go into a new direction.
Here, being a woman can be an advantage.
Men can be a bit rough and careless at times. Some warehouse managers prefer to use women for handling fragile items.
Around 8% of forklift operators in France are women. Some 12,000 jobs are currently up for grabs.
It's been described as an epidemic in Mexico, where the frequency of femicide and violence directed towards women is indeed alarming. For instance, in the last 4 years alone, some 600 women have been murdered in areas close to Mexico City, with most taking place in the nearby town of Ecatepec. As a result, the town has seen a boom of sorts in martial arts classes, as this report shows.
One after the other, Fabiola Artiga snatches her attacker's gun, points it at him, and pulls the trigger. The 24-year-old nurse has also learnt how to break a nose and escape a chokehold. Fabiola is among a growing number of women and teenage girls in her hometown Ecatepec who are taking self-defense classes.
Compared with how it used to be, we're going through a time of extreme violence. We have to be aware all the time of what's happening around us.
Ecatepec, on the northeastern edge of the capital, is in Mexico State. Over 600 women have been murdered in the state in the last 4 years, and over 1,000 have gone missing. Every week, body parts are discovered dumped in canals or in the foothills. The area now competes with Ciudad Juárez, the border city that's been known as Mexico's most dangerous place to be a woman since the mid-90s.
If Ciudad Juárez horrified the world, Ecatepec has twice the number of murdered and disappeared women. In the past 9 years, violence has gone up 140%. And that should horrify everyone.
Last year, the government declared a so-called gender alert, but local authorities say they need more funds to crack down on drug-related violence. Victims' families say criminals often pay off police officers, so parents struggle to track down their daughters and find the perpetrators.
And finally, in 2015, Ethiopia was the world's fastest growing economy. But the Horn of Africa country is currently battling its worst drought in 30 years. Yet despite the dip in the economy, there's been a rise in the number of female entrepreneurs, such as Abby Schultz, who's returned home from the States and launched a company making luxury handbags.
Abby Schultz grew up in an orphanage in northeast Ethiopia. At the age of 11, she was adopted by an American family and brought up in the States. Now, 15 years later, she's returned to Ethiopia to start her own business, producing luxury leather bags.
Ethiopia happened to be the largest livestock population in Africa and ranking number 10 in the world. So I want to focus on leather goods. And so I did my research in terms of tanneries and people that can produce. Basically, that's how I ended up working in the leather handbag business.
Abai's aim isn't just to produce handbags, but to generate jobs in her country of birth. And it's working. Her company employs 17 people, 10 of whom are designers. But running a business in Ethiopia isn't easy, with frequent power cuts and trouble finding qualified staff. For those employed here, though, this 26-year-old is a model boss.
She's very creative, and at the same time, she manages to sort out problems very quickly. She's taught me to think differently, and thanks to her, I've learned a lot.
The bags sell for between $70 and $700 apiece. The company now produces more than 400 bags a month, the majority for exports. Abai opened a store in Addis Ababa last March, and now Ethiopians are also part of her clientele.
I'm very happy with these products, which are made here, in our country, and are sold in Western countries, in Europe and America. It generates foreign currency for our country and also encourages local entrepreneurs.
In a country where salaries are as low as $40, these bags are out of reach for most Ethiopians. But the IMF now classifies Ethiopia as one of the 5 most dynamic economies in the world, giving hope to entrepreneurs like Abai that the luxury sector will soon be in the bag.
And that's it for now. And if you'd like to comment on what you've just seen, you can head to our Facebook page. That's 51%-France24. Or do send us a tweet at _51%. Thanks for your feedback so far. And please do keep those comments coming in. So until our next program, bye for now.